Hey everyone, happy Friday or whenever you catch this. So with the end of the week, I got some packages in the mail. The little mini drought from that I referenced last week is over. Got some packages this week in the mail. Already opened them up. So we're going to take a look at a couple different things. Starting off with some eBay stuff, and then we'll get a package from COMC as well. First one is from eBay. A couple of miscellaneous singles that I picked up. So this is the Aurora Championship Fever Red Edition. And actually, I'll put a little close-up on this one. So if you can make it out, they've got an etching of the player also on the side, which is always kind of a cool feature. They got a lot of different versions of this. I think the main one is the red one. There is a nice blue that's numbered, but this red version, while not numbered, is still one of my favorites. Just that shade of red is really nice for that Medano card. Don't always pick those up anymore, but when I get a chance, I may as well. Along the same vein, another kind of relatively inexpensive insert, but a nice looking card. You got this shiny one from SPX Top Prospects. So this is the, I always forget the insert name. This one is the Premier Stars. But as you can see, you got a nice little refractor, yeah, Premier Stars, there you go. It's always got a nice little refractor design with the embossed gold foil. So that's kind of cool. Next up is a little pickup for the Jamie Benn. Again, sticking with the theme of shiny cards. Here's a nice little O-Pee-Chee Platinum Jamie Benn. And this is the Ice Blue Tracks. So it's an unnumbered card. This is from 2016, 2017, but still a really nice card. Occasionally it's nice to pick up cards like this. And in this case, since I bought all of these from the same seller, I got to combine the shipping, which brought the cost down quite a bit. And these were not expensive. These were a couple of dollars each. This next one is actually the reason why I put together that lot. So I'll show it to you and then I'll explain. So this is Franchise, the franchise insert of Mike Medano. And you can see it's got a little lenticular thing, but it creates kind of this little like 3D-ish effect behind the player. It's really kind of neat. These are actually out of 30. It's actually a fairly limited card. Not expensive at all, but it is fairly limited. Now, I didn't realize they were numbered, but I got a chance to take a look at this one, and you can see actually there, it is 12 of 30. And being that 12 is my favorite number, it's kind of cool that this is the one I happened to pick up. But these were actually fairly scarce to pick up back then. So I think this is from 98, 99, or 99, 2000. Be a Player. But I think this is one of the more unique inserts from the Be a Player era because I genuinely didn't realize they were lenticular. Mind you, I hadn't had one in my hand until now. But there you go. There's only 30 of these lying around, and now I've got one back in my collection for the first time. This next one is actually a buyback. I didn't realize it when I bought it, but I picked it up. So I had already cleared 100 certified Mike Medano autos, but this one was just too nice for me to ignore. So it's fairly straightforward. It's a Upper Deck signed autographed jersey, but this is actually a buyback from 2004-2005 SP Authentic. I kept it in the same top loader since the card is actually a little bit thinner than a lot of jersey cards that I'm used to, but it is a nice, clean, hard-signed auto. It's a good-looking card, and the number, as with a lot of buybacks, if I pull this out, the number here will match a sticker on the card. But it is a nice, clean design and a good-looking card to add to the collection. So this is, I guess, is number 101. So there you go. On to 200. Next one is kind of a fun card, but entirely impractical, and I'll show you why here. So this is the Kramer's Choice Award, Mike Medano. And as you can see, it's an oversized card. Because of that, this didn't actually come this way. The seller was separated it out and actually packed these very well. This is probably the trickiest card, though, to sell, but you can see you got a nice shiny background with the 2000s and all that going on there. It's a cool-looking card. This one's unnumbered, but as you can see, I ended up having to use a little bit of ingenuity and use the rarely used sandwich bag top loader in lieu of an actual proper top loader or penny sleeve for this. It's going to be a little tricky since I don't actually know if I have any other cards that I can make use out of it, so I don't know if I'm going to just maybe try to buy one or buy a package of them. But nonetheless, still a cool card for my collection and one that I wanted to add, especially if I can add it inexpensively. Next one is also an eBay pickup, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this player and this nascent collection I'm putting together in a video that I'm going to try to have up this weekend as well. So we got a 2019 Chrome rookie card of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Cool looking card. Straightforward. That's the regular Chrome card. I think there's going to be some more. We're going to be seeing some more of this guy in probably upcoming mail days, but I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the video itself. But here's one from eBay for that nascent collection. We're going to be seeing more of that guy shortly as well. Next package is actually a big COMC pickup that I did with a whole bunch of things. So it's a combination of a lot of different stuff, but I'll kind of go through it and I'll explain as we go. First one, Limited Greats. We've got Devon White, Limited Greats. Let's see if I can do this. So this one is actually fairly straightforward. So in the spirit of, unlicensed cards, so you got Devon White from unspecified California team, possibly the Angels, just throwing it out there. But there's a autograph that actually kind of goes with my 92 and 93 Toronto Blue Jays players. I've been trying to get rookie cards and autographs of all the different players from the starting lineup of some of those teams. And this is definitely a good one to add to that collection. And these can be had extremely inexpensively, which is really kind of a sweet deal. And this one is numbered to $4.99. That really didn't add too much to the value, but it's a pretty clean looking card. I do wish it was hard signed, but still, good addition, especially for what I ended up getting it for. Next one. You got a Jamie Benn MVP, so this is a die cut. Nice looking card, again with kind of a refractor effect. This one is actually what they call the level 2 purple version. I don't remember the exact insert, but this is from 2016-2017 MVP hockey. What I'll do is I'll try to include which insert this is in the at the bottom of the screen here, just to tell you. But I had to pick it up. It was a really nice one, especially when I could combine the shipping with everything else in this COMC package. Next one is for my little UFC autograph collection that I'm building. So this is the 2018 Topps Chrome UFC autograph of Chris Justino, also known as Cyborg. Even though career in the UFC is kind of over with for now, still a key card in this little collection. All of these are unnumbered, but they've all got kind of a refractor thing going on with the chrome, which is kind of cool. So there's another one off the list. Working my way through it slowly. There's about 33 cards in this set, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through, so we're making some progress. So the next group of cards are working on one of those player collections that I was kind of referencing earlier. So let's take a look at a couple of Carlos Delgados. Some of them are kind of fun, so we'll go through them here. So this one is the Chase for $750. I love when they get insert sets like this. So it's understandable that Delgado, being a great power hitter in his time, it's understandable that he would be in a set like this. But at this stage in his career, he had 229 career home runs. It does feel a bit presumptuous to throw it out there, but it is kind of hilarious to me that he was already in sets like this. The Chase for $755. I feel like you should probably be in the high 300s and low 400s before you really are in consideration for something like this, because you're still years away. So somebody in the 200s is a bit presumptuous from my perspective. Next one's kind of a cool one. So this is a UD3 die cut. So this is kind of a Power Corps thing. So again, this is kind of early in Delgado's career, but he was starting to establish himself as a power hitter. But what makes this card kind of interesting, so I like the design, first of all. It is kind of busy, so if you're not into that, this isn't going to be good for you. But I do enjoy that they're kind of alluding to the fact that he is a great power hitter, but at the same time, he had only just started establishing himself to it. So you're looking at the 1997 AL home run leaders here, but Delgado is obviously not on it. You won't find him anywhere on here. And at the same time, so this is the, as it's a die cut, this is out of 1,000. And on the back, you've got the RBI leaders. But again, you're not going to find Carlos Delgado. And the reason is because in this year, 97, he was his first season with 30 home runs. Now, he would go on to have a bunch of very productive seasons in terms of power. But it is just kind of funny that before he even got to that point, they were already trying to put him into that category, probably before he actually belonged into it. He would get there, though, in time. What's also interesting about these is that they, if you know anything about the UD3 set, and you can certainly look up a little bit of it, they had different technologies. So you had a a number for that, the actual card number, so card number 146, and then also for the subset itself. It was a very interesting and probably overly complicated set, but that's the thing I like about player collecting. You get kind of a representation of different cards that came out. In the 90s, especially in the late part of the 90s, they tried a lot of stuff, and UD3 was definitely one of those things they tried out. Next one's kind of a straightforward card. This is 1995 Flair. It's the base card. Nice looking, nothing too crazy about it. And at this point, Delgado was still kind of playing catcher a lot. So that was the early part of his career. Nothing too crazy. I like this one. So this is 1995 Can't Select, Can't Miss. I love the foil etch cards, and that red in the background is actually really nice. I like it. Just moving it around a little bit so you can get a sense of that foil etching. I really dig that. I would love to see more cards like this come back into the hobby a little bit. They're not super expensive, but they're kind of fun. Pinnacle was really great for this at the time because they would do the rink collection in hockey, and you'd have stuff like a museum collection as well. And depending on how you move the card in the light, you would get a lot of these interesting reflections off of it, and it was just a sweet looking design choice. Give the card a little bit of texture as well. So speaking of shiny, you got this one here. So you got Pacific Revolution 1999. There you go. If you like your shiny, reflective base card, Pacific had some cards for you. Back is pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. It's all about the shininess on the front there. Next one, Upper Deck Ionics. So this is Shockwave. Actually, it surprised me. I knew these weren't super expensive, but they are dirt cheap. It's actually kind of ridiculous. I actually kind of like this design. It is a little bit busy again. There's a lot going on here. Good old Ionics. But again, if you can combine shipping, it saves you. The problem with a lot of these lower end cards is if you don't do a combined shipping thing, with the shipping it becomes just unjustifiable. That's why you want to get them in bunches like this. Next one is actually the parallel for this. So this is Black Diamond. So it's numbered to 1000. Whoops, upside down. There you go, numbered to 1000. So this is the gold version. And it is 2001 Black Diamond. So there's actually only two. So there's the base card and this gold version. You may see something like this again in the not too distant future. I may have added it to a different order, but anyway, here's the gold version. Keeping the shiny train going here. You got your Donruss Elite Extra Edition Turn of the Century. So this one is a die cut, numbered to 250. Cool looking card. You got kind of that effect going, plus it's a die cut. Back is pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. Making some additions and picking up some cards for this set. Next one keeps the theme going. We got ourselves a Refractor. So you got Topps Finest Delgado. This is the Refractor. And this is, I keep forgetting the years on these, it is 2003. I do appreciate the years where they actually put Refractor on there. Mind you, you can tell. There are certain years that are a little trickier. This one I don't think is anywhere near. You can make it out. And the design on this is actually pretty solid. I like this. You got the nice Delgado in the background there as well. That's pretty sweet. All right, these next three are actually a set. A little mini rainbow of them. So this is our SPX. I think it's 1998 SPX. I'll check it in a second. But this is the base card. So pretty straightforward. You got a straightforward design. You got the two pictures of Delgado. You got the little etching in the middle. That's similar to that Medano that I showed you a little earlier. But this is for the baseball version. Now this is the base card and it is numbered to 9,000. Super limited, as you can imagine. But nonetheless, there's your base card. So we'll look at that first. And I'm going to put this behind here just so we can keep that in mind and keep that in perspective. Same order. This is our Radiance parallel. So this is the first parallel from the set. Very similar design-wise. Instead, now this is in gold instead of bronze. A little bit shinier, a little bit more reflective. And this one is numbered to 4,500. So as a parallel, it is got the half of the production run. Not too crazy, but it is there. Okay, so we'll put the Radiance back here. And last and certainly not least, like I said, it's a little mini rainbow. Here you go. This is the Spectrum. Now this one is my favorite of the bunch by far. Like, look at that. Got kind of a silver, but it's got that refractor thing going on. And anytime you've got this rainbow thing going on, I'm always going to call it the refractor thing because that's what I think of when I see it. But look at that. Now you'd think something like this must be extremely limited numbered. However, you'd be wrong. 2,250. And that's it. They're actually very plentiful. And as a result, these are dirt cheap. Really inexpensive. But it's really kind of a cool way to put together a little rainbow of these cards. I honestly would have thought it would have been like out of 100 or something like that, but not so much. But there you go. Kind of an interesting way of doing it as well. You got your bronze, gold, and then silver. And the silver ends up being the one that's the most limited, but also, I think, the most interesting design with the Spectrum. So base, Radiance, and Spectrum. And it is all out of SPX, and it is 1998 SPX. So there you go. Another nice little addition. All right, a couple of more early year Carlos Delgados to finish this off. So here we got 1990, I want to say 1994 Upper Deck. So this is a Electric Diamond, the parallel. Sorry, 1995. So that's the 95 Delgado in parallel form. Future Stock Prospects. Again, we bring back the foil etching that I like so much with a little hint of a die cut at the top. Very nice. So this is the 96. Now keep this pose in mind. I don't think it's the exact same photo, but it's very close. So there you got the, this is the silver parallel of 95 Collector's Choice Special Edition. But as your silver version, that is a really, really close to the same pose. I think it is slightly different. You can see the knee is bent a little bit more on this one, but it's pretty much, it's virtually identical. They caught the swing at nearly the same point in both, which is kind of funny. Both cards right around the same time period. Last and certainly not least for the Legatos, finishing it all off. I kind of like these. This is a 95 Fleer. Nothing extravagant about it. I do remember, though, I wish I still had the magazine, because I remember a card magazine that had an ad for the 95 Fleer, and they had a couple of different looking designs for this particular year. It's kind of interesting. The other thing that I think is a little notable about this 95 Fleer, obviously you got, the players' statistics and all that as far as, height, weight, bats left, throws right-handed, date of birth, and all that. You got this going on here. So it's kind of it's not too busy a design, but it's definitely a little bit busy. What I like, though, it's kind of interesting, is that they actually, when they have full statistics, Delgado was still pretty early in his career, but you got his stats going back to 1989, playing in St. Catharines in the minors for 2 years, Syracuse, Myrtle Beach, Dunedin, Knoxville, before playing for the Blue Jays. He did play a couple of games in '93, and I think that's what earned him a World Series ring. 2 games in 1993. And then back to Syracuse for a cup of coffee, and then finishing off the '94 season with playing with the big club. There you go, an early year Delgado there. And believe it or not, the COMC order is not finished. I promised you a little bit more of this guy. So, we've got 2019 Bowman. Bowman Prospects, I think. So there you go. So there's the regular version. That's for starters. Then we got the camo version. There is also a green version that's a little different than this one. This card is unnumbered, but it is the camo version. I'm still getting acquainted with a lot of these sets, but I keep an eye on it based on the number on the back. So BP for Bowman Prospects, and that's kind of how you keep track when they're not numbered like this. So that's our camo version. I'm going to swap this one out because this next one is the chrome version. I wanted to kind of have these as the staples for this little mini collection I'm putting together. And I like that the biggest difference, aside from the fact that it is chrome, is that on the back you put, instead of BP, it's BCP. There you go. Otherwise, it's virtually identical, and obviously we're dealing with chrome. That's kind of cool. I'm going to swap that out. Next one, 2019. This is the Optic Rated Rookie. If you don't mind not having the logos, this is actually a pretty affordable rookie card still for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Pretty straightforward. Plus, you get the rated rookie design. It's kind of nice. And you got parallels and different things you can chase. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to leave that guy here. You got your 2 chrome cards, but let's just swap one of these out. Next one is another rookie parallel. So we got 2019 Topps. But this is one of the variations. This is from the complete set. So this is card number 700, but it is a complete set version. It's the fielding variation. There's a lot of little variations with this, so sometimes it's kind of hard to keep track, but this is one of them. So I'm trying to get my hands on different ones. As you can see, obviously, from the chrome version, there are different poses that you can locate. There's a bunch of them, so I kind of have to get a checklist to keep them straight for myself. But it's kind of cool having one of the variations there. Let's swap this guy out. So one more Vladimir Guerrero Jr. rookie card here to finish this off. We got the Stadium Club, which I actually think is one of my favorites. It's just basically a portrait. But it's a pretty good looking. It's a pretty good looking headshot. The Stadium Club have a lot of great photography, so it is kind of cool. So that's card number 301 on this one. So picking up a lot of these rookie cards now. If he does end up taking off, the prices will kind of start moving and be a little bit less reasonable. So I thought now is a good time. He's got a little bit of hype for sure, but the Jays aren't going anywhere fast this year. Future years, though, it'll be kind of interesting to see what this player makes out of it and what they're able to do with him. Kind of cool. All right, last card. So like I said, it was kind of all over the place, but I wanted to talk about, so we're talking about a young player on the ascend who has potential, but you know, we don't know what his career is going to come out of. And then we got an established player whose career is more or less established. It's just a matter of where he's going to end up. So how about a PSA 9 of 2001 Upper Deck, the Albert Pujols rookie card. For me, the Topps is another one, but for me, having the Upper Deck version is kind of a thing that I wanted to have in my collection, and I'm more than happy with the PSA 9, so I'm good with that. I don't know how much longer Pujols is going to go, but right now he's at the point where he has the 650 home runs. He's got 3,000 hits. You know, I think his plaque in Cooperstown is already being engraved. It's just a matter of exactly where he's going to end up. 2,000 RBIs, which puts him in that exclusive club. It's a combination of power and hitting that is going to be really hard to top. I kind of, part of me selfishly wants to see him get into that elite section. 700 home runs I think is out of the question, but I think he's fairly close to moving one more rung up the ladder of the RBI leaders, and I think at that point that's enough. I think trying to stick around and trying to get 700 home runs or something like that. Sorry, there the camera stopped, so I'll just finish my thought. So I was just saying 700 home runs and all that, I think it's out of the question. I don't think he can be productive enough. His average has been dropping over the years, and you kind of don't want to see him fall below a 300 career average, and he's right on the cusp of that, and it would be nice feather in his cap just to finish it off, especially considering how great his hitting career was, to finish with that 300 average. I think probably finishing at the end of the season might be enough, might be it. But at the end of the day, it's really up to the player. But I'd be curious to see. Either way, I'm happy to add this one to my collection at this point, because the next stop is Cooperstown for Albert Pujols. So there you go. Pretty good variety of different things in the pickups this week. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this guy, as well as this guy, in an upcoming video, and I'll explain more once I get into that. But I'm working on a couple of collections, obviously, and this is kind of the first big batch of pickups as far as that's concerned. Also, at the same time, whenever it comes to these COMC orders, I really do like going with the variety of different things, so it kind of makes the mail day for these a lot more fun. Anyway, I think this video has been long enough. I appreciate it if you got to the end of the video. If you have any questions, by all means, feel free. I'd be happy to answer anything you have. There are other videos on the channel as well. Check them out, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks very much.